Welcome back to Blast Guy's new miniseries for Joytoy's Fear 3 Heavy Firepower Type Mech. In part 5, we're going to take a look at some of my recommendations for assembling the leg armor in pieces. This can get pretty confusing because the instructions are poor, and looking at the overall pieces can get a little confusing trying to figure out how to take them apart because they are quite stuck together because of being brand new. So I'm going to show you how to do that, to put what, where, how to actually run some of those fabric connectors through. I won't be able to fully show you, because it takes sometimes 2 to 3 hands. You might have to recruit a family member to help you hold pieces to get them on. But I'll do my very best to give you some kind of a guide so you can assemble your Fear 3 mech. So let's go ahead and get started by taking a look at the leg pieces. So first off, you're going to want to locate this piece. You're going to need 3 pieces per leg. So this one here is going to be for his left leg, I believe. My right, your left kind of thing. So if I spin him around this way, so he's a right. So this would be his left leg. So on the left leg, you want to have, this little emblem in the front. If you can see, if you look at this piece, it has a couple of the same pieces. So it can get you really disoriented when you're trying to, once you take this all apart. And then you're going to need this piece, which is a piece that goes on his lower leg, again, a shin guard. And this is kind of a confusing piece too, because it kind of goes over the kneecap and is really what you might need a third hand or a fourth hand. So we'll start with this piece here on disassembling. So regardless if you're doing the right or left leg, you're going to want to have this piece. This is the inside. This is the outside. It's very easy to get confused because you could literally put this on the other leg if you wanted to. But according to the box picture, you're going to want to have this logo on the front on the his other leg. So what you need to do is try to keep it oriented for you. So you're going to want to take this piece off here. And how you do that is these 2 little round pegs here. It's very, very stiff. Now, I recommend you use very caution and patience with this. If you're going to get frustrated, like sometimes, it happens with everybody. You just want to put it down and you want to move on and take a break, come back to it later, or maybe find some help. Now, this thing is really stuck on here. You can see how that pulls off. Be very careful too when you're pushing. Don't try to put any force on these actual little bars. You could break it. So you just want to work this piece off. It's just pegged on there because of the paint. It's very tight. See? So trying to keep your piece oriented. So put this to where technically I think this piece here is the same piece in this piece, but just set it aside. Keep yourself a little bit of orientation. Now, this is the part that's kind of tricky. This piece here is one piece. So this side piece, this top and side here, it overlaps this piece, which shows you those bars inside there. So you do have to put this piece back before you put this piece back. And what's holding on this piece is these 2 little gray bars here. You kind of got to get in there. Again, when you first get it, it's going to be very hard. I kind of work mine off a little bit just to try to make it easier for the camera. So you see how I'm disoriented. I don't know where it came from. Remember too, this should be on the side, on the outer side of your mech. Because you took off your directions, you're kind of looking at this piece. Just try to hold out your front. Now you'll set that down. Now I see that that looks like that piece is pretty much the same thing. You need to get that piece off too. And that's the same way, it's pegged there. And now you're getting into like more of a harder place to work because of you don't want to hold on to those bars and break them. So this is really stuck on there. I might have to try to. There we go. So that's your back piece. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep my pieces oriented where I know what I'm doing. And I'm going to bring in the mech. Give me 1 second. Okay, here's our mech. I'm going to point out this piece, this strap. You're going to need this piece. So what this piece is going to do, now there's no right or wrong way to where to put that at. So you're going to string it through here, and then you're going to move this piece, and this Velcro piece meets that top piece. You're basically going to loop it through there, and you're going to Velcro to the top, and that's what holds on there. And believe it or not, it's a very good hold if you do it right. So I recommend this. You just basically, you have your back piece, right? So you want to, now I've seen recommendations you can do, this is the front piece. Obviously if you put that bar back in there, you could run this through here on the front if you wanted to, and then basically you're going to Velcro it. But I prefer to do the back because it's out of the way. Now I am now going to try to run this, now pull this onto the back. Let me see if I get this camera angled right. Hopefully that helps a little bit. So there's that extra piece there. So I want to bring this around to the back of my mech. And I'm going to try to keep it straight, not twisted. Because remember, you want to be able to match up the two ends. So you're going to have the fuzzy part out. You come down through the bottom here. And you're going to run it through. It's sometimes hard to get a hold of because of all the other pieces in the way. And the length of the material doesn't really help either too much. I'll have to move that arm a little bit more. But we got to get this Velcro piece. And the mech could fall on you. Could lay it down, I guess, but it would be hard to show. It's hard enough to do this with the angle that I have, and not hold the camera, basically. That is very, very difficult to get through there with just two hands because it's so tight of a tolerance of the length of the strap. So I'm going to go ahead and get this through real quick, and I'll show you here in 1 second. Okay, I got it through there. So you can see how it's just through that bar right in there. And you're going to want to bring it up here to this piece. You're going to stick your pull on this as you're trying to put this piece on and not lose it. Kind of like this, and then you can pull on this as you see fit, and you can stick it on the other end of the strap that's there. That'll help hold it temporarily. See that you have it on there. See how firm that is. So getting that as tight as you possibly can is probably the best thing you could do, so you don't have to worry about that being too fiddly. So the next thing you want to do is you're going to want to put this piece back on. And remember this piece, the 4 gray cylinders and the 2 ribbons go towards the bottom. You just want to peg it back on like this. And it does look, it can be a little finicky because if you don't just get it right, it kind of gives you a hard time, as you can see. Okay, now so you want to push it on all the way on because you want it to be firm. Just make sure you take a look at, it's up against the other end. So you're going to want to take this piece next, and you're going to want to put it on. Now this will be basically held on by these 2 bars here on the inside and then right here. And then obviously when you put on the side piece, it'll help hold it too. So remember to keep this piece out of the way. You want to get underneath that. Try to get your piece there. You see how you connect it right here. And then on the inner side, you want to get it all over too. Make sure it snaps on really nice and tight. Just be careful. Now for me, what I did is I left this. Obviously, you just put this piece back on here. But before I do that, I want to... This piece here is irritating. So this will come unstrapped. So basically, you got to bring it, show you the back of it. So tuck down that flat piece in the back. And then you want to bring the piece around over the top of the bottom bar. But you want to go through the top bar when you string it through like so. And then you're going to put one side on each side of the leg like this. And then what I did is this piece, this bar right here, I put up against this bar. And it actually seats really, really nice. And I'll show you complete the leg before we end the video, but I can't hold this and adjust all this strap. I need like a family member to help me hold this. So what I'll do is I'll hold this, and somebody will come in and they'll connect these two connector pieces, and we'll adjust the straps. And then the reason I left this piece off is because all this extra strap I'm gonna tuck up under here, and then I can, once it comes up here, I can pull up and situate to where it's out of the way. You know, it's not being seen when these straps are just hanging down. It's just for cosmetic issues. So that's where you're going to want that piece. And then this piece is basically the shin guard, bottom. Let's get the camera fixed. Okay, so that's the... So you just want to come in here and have your two pieces. You're going to disconnect your two pieces. Which that is quite hard because that is very, very small. You can see those connectors. Unless you got some crazy fingernails, or you know, somebody that has like a special tool. You don't use any metal tools. There you go. On these, because you could break these. They're only plastic. What you're going to do is, so this piece here, as you see, is basically going to go around this side piece here. You also might want to go on the back here, and you want to lift these pieces up out the way. It helps too. And you're just going to come around here and slide this on after you have your straps on the right sides, like this. So you have one strap here and strap here, and then that slides right on. Just be very careful you don't scratch your paint, because it's basically rubbing up against that nice metallic armor. And then you're going to adjust this. And the way it's supposed to fit is you find your connection point. So what I've done on mine from the back of here, I ran, it's out of the way here, mine underneath. I had to take off these connector pieces and then reattach them. I ran mine underneath that joint, as you can see right there on the back. Now you run it around the back, you run it through there, and you bring it back around the front. And then you connect them in the front like this. That's the way the box shows them sitting. The instructions, I don't know. But that's the best way I've done it. So I'll go ahead and show you guys a completed leg. And I'm going to say, my experience, like, this is probably, the armor stays on this one better than Fear 1 and Fear 2. Even though this is bigger, bulkier armor, especially these thigh pieces are really on there because of that Velcro. Can we pick up the camera? So this is what your leg would look like on the side. It's the front of it. And see how like this piece is butt up against that bar. That kind of gives you that knee appearance. And down at the bottom you can see how that's strapped back around and connected in the front there. Here's the back of it. Here's that inside piece. Like I said, this is still work in progress. This is a completed look. And like I said, you can either fan these out if you wanted to, just to give it a different appearance once you have it all done. But then you can see how I ran that underneath that piston, and it gives it, that way it doesn't get caught up in that piston, when it gives it a better appearance, in my opinion. That's my overall, personal aesthetic choice. But you could just wrap that around there if you wanted to. It's not a big deal. It's just, and it also keeps it in place, in my opinion, too. So that looks really cool. And by having these little panels out, gives it more of a body, if you like, or you can just push them in and seat them because they're flexible, like so. I think that looks really, really good. Okay, so that's my recommendations for the overall leg assembly. Like I said, unfortunately I can't do it all on the camera because it takes multiple hands. You may be able to do it with 2 hands. It's just, for me, it's keeping the parts in place, and while tightening and connecting and adjusting is just too much for 2 hands. It saves you a headache too. Saves you some money on Tylenol. But this piece will go here, and I kind of like have mine to where I keep my straps in the front, and then I have that V going downward. So like you want more of the pad up top, and then it will go slant inward. It gives it more of a downward appearance. So hopefully you guys enjoyed part 5 of our new mini-series, and these tips help you assembling your mech, or if you have questions or worries about, I want to buy that, but is it going to be hard for me to put together? It's it's a little challenging, and takes better part of an hour, I believe, even if you're not making a review. So like I said, just use caution. My final things is use caution. Try to be tactful. Think about what you're trying to do before you do it, and try to only take your parts apart once or twice. Try not to take them apart more than you have to, because the plastic's not like a durable heavy plate plastic. So I'll be careful with that. So if you like this review and this new mini-series, hit that thumbs up for me. Don't forget to subscribe. Please like and share the video, comment down below, and we'll see you in part 6.